Hello, and welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Job and his adventures, and Elihu coming to the rescue as an adult to the kids' table. You have the four children sitting at the table, and Elihu comes over and says, "My goodness, you guys are getting rowdy. You've had a little bit too much sugar." I know, that's a very rudimentary way to bring up a very elementary way to explain that they're being children. As I am sometimes, right? It's good to be a child at heart, but maybe act like an adult. Because then it gives you insights, into the world and how it works, right? Because then you can reanalyze your bringing up, how you were brought up, the experiences you had growing up. The more you learn about how the world works, the more you can better understand, the life that you lived growing up to then, if you even care, right? If it matters to you. This shouldn't matter at the end, right? You shouldn't be looking back, but you can reanalyze the past to better set your sails for the future in a way. God doesn't appear and talk as he used to, so gotta do what you gotta do. I guess sometimes. I don't know. I feel like I want to say, right, if I was in the position of the Israelites, but then, right, I wasn't a slave. But then again, right, are we not kind of slaves to ourselves, at least? In the end, I mean, And even as messed up as it may be, you're still, as an outsider looking in for a moment, right? They went from the slavery of the Egyptians to a more mild, tendered slavery, right, under God's rule. So, I mean, they have a lot more freedoms, right? They're allowed to do whatever they want. It's really not slavery. And that's why it's an outsider's perspective, right? Because an insider's perspective is like, that's the deal that we made. Or it should be. That's how I think about it now a little bit, But right? It's the holding up our end of the bargain. So, I think this is what the title says. Elihu proclaims God's justice. Elihu further answered and said, so he was spitting some hot fire. Shout out because he wasn't a rapper, That's how hot these bars were. You would have thought that he was melting molten iron with how hot these bars were, The Spirit of God has made me, and the breath of the Almighty gives me life. That's Elihu talking, dude. And he's young, right? And I was messing with him a little bit last episode because he was a little talking himself up a little bit, Because he was like, I have a lot to say, but he kept saying that he had a lot to say and not saying much. So, hopefully we get a lot more of those words of Elihu. Let's get into it. Hear my words, you wise men, facetious. Give ear to me, you who have knowledge. So you're talking to the wrong people, buddy. For the ears test words, as the palate tastes food. You're right. That's how it works. Those are how senses occur. Let us know among ourselves what is good. You should, at least for yourself at the end of the day, right? For Job has said, I am righteous. Liar. but God has taken away my justice. Elihu, are you talking about yourself right now? Your own justice that you feel that you need? Should I lie concerning my right? No. But why are you even bringing that up? Well, that's what Job was doing, right? Okay. Oh, right. My wound is incurable, though I am without transgression. What man is like Job? Nobody, right? Who drinks scorn like water? Job does. Who goes in company with the workers of iniquity? Job does. Sorry, buddy. It had to happen. You know? It had to happen one day. And walks with wicked men. Job does. For he said, it profits a man nothing that he should delight in God. Job said that. All your profit is from God, right? Hypocrite! Therefore listen to me, you men of understanding, or lack thereof. Far be it from God to do wickedness. He only does his own thing. Does God's plan. I guess you make up the wickedness in the end, I guess. And from the Almighty to commit iniquity, for he repays a man according to his work, and makes man to find a reward according to his way. And I challenge everybody, right? If you have a chance to set something up and not take the credit for it, do it. It's a lot better in the end. Just knowing that you did it, if you're the only person that knows, it's a lot better, right? Because then it's between you and God, and it's great. It's fantastic. And it's the same feeling that you get, but it's the opposite of how you feel when you sin, right? Because, I mean, most of the time, right? You know you sinned. God knows you sinned. And that's the same kind of relationship you have when you do good things and you also don't tell people about it. You don't need to hear people, right? And the good things that you do. Keep it to yourself, right? And then your actions should speak for themselves then, right? It's a whole thing. I don't know. Is it right? I think so. Does it work out? Yeah. It lives to a peaceful life at the end of the day. So, listen to more of what Elihu has to say. Surely God will never do wickedly, nor will the Almighty pervert justice. Who gives him charge over the earth? He made it, though. Or who appointed him over the whole world? I guess he did, right? He made himself. If he should set his heart on it, if he should gather to himself his spirit and his breath, all flesh would perish together, and man would return to dust. So we were reading this in Exodus earlier, as I've read Exodus previously as well. And it seems more of like an overstatement to bring up, but like, God can just kill you at the end of the day, and you're still doing the wrong thing. Right? How do you get people to listen? Tell them the truth. Right? I know maybe it's not the best route to go, guys, but like I said, it's a good start. It's maddening being here, right? I get it. I live the same life. If he should set his heart on it, if he should gather to himself his spirit and his breath, all flesh would perish together. If you have understanding, hear this. Listen to the sound of my words. Should one who hates justice govern? Probably not, because then you're going to be governing for yourself, Will you condemn him who is most just? Probably not, right? I probably wouldn't be condemning somebody who is innocent. Is it fitting to say to a king, you are worthless, and to the nobles, you are wicked? Not really. I think he'd probably end up dead a lot of the time. So, pretty bold thing to say. Right? Go to North Korea and say that. Go to China and say that. Go to the Soviet Union and say that. Go to Argentina? Portugal? Trying to think of the communist countries. But some places like those, right? Where, like, if you do speak out against the government openly, you go missing, right? And that's the end of it. A lot of countries that do that. A lot, like in the Middle East, Asia area, though. Who knows? It's a different world at the end of the day. Truly. Yet he is not partial to princes, nor does he regard the rich more than the poor. For they are all the work of his hands. In a moment they die in the middle of the night, and people are shaken and pass away. The mighty are taken away without a hand, for his eyes are on the ways of man, and see all his steps. Every single little tippy tiny step that you take in your life and throughout your day, he knows. He knows. He knows that you threw something out from like 3 inches away and you missed the garbage can. He knows. You know? He knows about it. He knows about everything, dude. Anything you could possibly imagine. And you're just going to be telling him what he already knows. Where was I? In the moment they die, in the middle of the night, the people are shaken and pass away. The mighty are taken away without a hand. Just by natural selective processes of God's plan are you taken away. There is no darkness nor shadow of death, where the workers of iniquity may hide themselves. For he need not further consider a man, that he should go before God in judgment. He breaks into pieces mighty men without iniquity, and sets others in their place. Therefore he knows their works. He overthrows them in the night, and they are crushed. He strikes them as wicked men in the open sight of others, because they turn back from him, and would not consider any of his ways, and so they cause the cry of the poor to come to him, for he hears the cry of the afflicted. So even the wicked, if you think you're getting away with things, every bad thing that you do to somebody else, you then require a cry to God concerning your actions, therefore contributing to the overall record of iniquities done by wicked men, and therefore shall grant ye a visit therefore after post-death, right, to the great architect of the universe, where you get to explain to him what the fuck you were trying to build, right? That's what it's for, right? At the end of the day, you got to explain it to him. And that's all that matters at the end of the day. When he gives quietness, who then can make trouble? And when he hides his face, who then can see him? Whether it is against a nation or a man alone, that the hypocrite should not reign, lest the people be ensnared. Yeah, you're right, Jeroboam. Haha. For has anyone said to God, I would have borne chastening? Chastening? I will offend no more. Teach me what I do not see. If I have done iniquity, I will do no more. Should he repay it according to your terms, just because you disavow it? You must choose, and not I. Therefore speak what you know. Men of understanding say to me, wise men who listen to me. Job speaks without knowledge, his words are without wisdom. Oh, that Job has tried to the utmost, because his answers are like those of wicked men. For he adds rebellion to his sins. He claps his hands among us, and multiplies his words against God. Elihu, a little bit roundabout of a way, but thank you for bringing back this point, right? Job, my boy, you're the problem. You're everything that's wrong in the world, and everything that's wrong with the current situation that you find yourself in. John, you're a problem. You're the source of all of the problems in your life. You're the source of all the bad things that have ever happened in your life. Even the bad things that you don't think about, right? But, like, you could have stood up for yourself. And you could have told somebody to fuck off, right? At the end of the day, right? And maybe that was better for God and me. And I would have felt better, and maybe the situation would have gone a little better, right? Because I wasn't a big bitch, right, at the time. And I'm hoping not to be a big bitch anymore, right? I'm hoping to be a small one, I think, right? And just, well, maybe not one at all. Like, this, the feeling of speaking up to someone is good. It's nice. It's a little bit, maybe like, maybe the way I was raised was to not cause problems. And I found, like, interacting with people that it's better at the end of the day to maybe cause some problems when need be, to, like, stand up for yourself. But maybe I found the way of, like, just giving up parts of myself and just accepting it and doing whatever people wanted. And it didn't lead me to a good place, right? I wasn't happy with where I was. Or currently, maybe. But who knows? That's why we're here. That's why we're on this path, right? Continuing to live and grow every single day. Elihu, your words, a little bit abstract, but I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt, being as you're a little bit younger, right? You maybe haven't necessarily, and I fall in the same boat, right? But you maybe haven't necessarily had the life experience to maybe have the words to properly facilitate the transfer of knowledge as maybe you would. Maybe there's still a little bit of emotion in there. And maybe you're working on trying to formulate points to give to other people, you know? Right? Let's read 35 and see where we go before I analyze this too much. Moreover, Elihu answered and said, Do you think this is right? Do you say my righteousness is more than God's? For you say, What advantage will it be to you? What profit shall I have more than I have? More if I had sinned. More than if I had sinned. I will answer you, and your companions with you. Look to the heavens and see, and behold the clouds. They are higher than you. If you sin, what do you accomplish against him? Or if your transgressions are multiplied, what do you do to him? Nothing good, right? You don't make the situation any better. If you are righteous, what do you give him? What he asked for, when he asked for it, in the specific time that he had previously asked you to do it. And you don't receive anything because that's what you were supposed to do. Or what does he receive from your hand? Your wickedness affects men such as you, and your righteousness a son of man. Because of the multitude of oppressions they cry out. They cry out for help because of the arm of the mighty. But no one says, where is God my maker? Right, which should be the first thing they said. And maybe, Elihu, if you can bring it all together. Who gives songs in the night, who teaches us more than the beasts of the earth, and makes us wiser than the birds of heaven. There they cry out, but he does not answer because of the pride of evil men. What? You're saying he doesn't speak up because evil people are proud when he does it? Because that's like the real life, right? When you ask God for help and he doesn't immediately help you in the moment, that's literally what gives pride to people that don't believe. Which is quickly remedied by a little tap, a love tap. Although you say you do not see him. Oh wait, no, I skipped. I'm sorry. There they cry out, but he does not answer because of the pride of evil men. Surely God will listen to empty talk, nor will the Almighty regard it. Oh, sorry. Surely God will not listen to empty talk. Job, your cries are falling on deaf ears. Ooh. Again, not a... I don't know. Right? You should be... Well, let's keep reading. Nor will the Almighty regard it. Although you say you do not see him, yet justice is before him, and you must wait for him. And now, because he has not punished in his anger, nor taken much notice of folly, therefore Job opens his mouth in vain. He multiplies words without knowledge. Ooh. And maybe that's the compounding effects of sinning and then sinning again when you lose faith. What he's talking about, the multiplied words without knowledge, that kind of thing. Being ignorant in what you're kind of talking about, and the fact that one bad thing happens and now Job is down in the dumps about what has happened and occurred in his life. But at the end of the day, Job lost faith. Right? If you were righteous, Job, you wouldn't be acting like this. And maybe that's a fact. Maybe that's a big boy fact. Maybe that's a big boy fact that we all need to get drilled into our thick little noggins. Those hard pills to swallow. That, like, you're still the problem. And it starts from you. Change starts from within. And that, like, you're always going to need his help. But if you remember and you try and you put in the effort, right, and you don't stop making excuses for yourself, right, and you just continue to live your life, if you have the ability to, right. I know some people are not granted those liberties, but we're here to live our lives and make up for those who cannot, right? Pouring out for the homies. Pouring out. Pour a little bit out. In remembrance. And thank you, God, right? It was their time. Thank you. Everybody who gives their life over to something that is not themselves. Right? Elihu. It sounds like maybe you're frustrated and you didn't know how to articulate yourself. And you're calling him a wicked man and then going after his self-righteousness. And it's good, right, to tell him that, because his friends weren't saying this, but like to simply make him acknowledge the truth, I guess, at the end of the day, which is he lost faith. I don't know, I hope God says that to him, right, at the end of the day. I forgive you, but you lost faith. And Job had to pay penance, I think that's how you say it, for his actions done upon earth at the end of the day, right? And he had to, pay for it. And that's why I think words are not natural, right? This is weird. I hear the sounds that animals make, We're different. Words are weird. Sounds are weird. The fact that you can't just understand language. Like, if we were truly all human beings, you think we would have, like, one central thing. But there's so much difference in language, dude. Go to the Middle East. Go to Germany. Go to Asia. Go to Africa. Go to Canada. Go to France. Go to Italy. Go to the Czech Republic. Ukraine. South America. Go listen to all their languages. English is weird as well. So there's that. If you don't learn your language when you're young, it's really hard to learn. What's up with that? Sponge being a brain. I know, I understand that it takes time, right? Your brain hardens up. It's not as spongy, but who knows? Alright, well, we left off in the middle, kind of, so we'll see. Get back in with chapter 37 in the middle of, 36. So still kind of, he's still in the middle of a little dialogue here. So we're getting there though, right? We're almost to the resolution of this story. And I think everybody's a little bit wrong, And maybe that's life as it is. So we're all wrong. Thank you, God, for giving us the opportunity to learn, grow, and exceed. In everything that we do, and give us strength, courage, and peace on the roads ahead, in the days, weeks, months, years, decades, centuries, and beyond, to find some peace with Buzz Lightyear looking at you.